Alec, you are sitting in a chair at the top of the rookery. What is effectively your haven, but not 100% yours.
Unfortunately, the case.
And as you are sitting there, doing your job, effectively, a crow flaps in, lands on the arm of your chair, looks up at you for a moment, and then takes off and flies over to get its reward. Out the other window, the other side of the room. Everything seems secure. At least as far as you can tell.
Very well. I will watch the window, and I assume there's a little bit of melodic music in the background, just to coming out from the window.
Yeah.
And just to sort of enjoy a peaceful sort of embrace of the evening.
Yeah, and you know, it's a good night to take stock. And the facts as they stand are reasonably simple. You are a member of the Old Guard, although not really in the inner circle. You're more of a watchdog. You keep an eye on the domain. You make sure no intruders venture too far or without permission. You keep everyone away so that the group can go about their activities. You have a basic understanding of what they're doing. You're not involved directly in it. It is not something you particularly... It's what's the best way to say it? You are not... You don't get along with that type of work.
It is not my cup of tea, as they would say.
Indeed. But, it's always necessary to have friends, such as they may be. And, when the Old Guard moved in here, you came with them. Yeah, it's been an interesting few months. I believe you didn't live in Weirgate before. Well, none of these people did. And it's been... Actually, you know, what it's really been is uneventful. Recently, even the takeover of the territory from Kale, and Malkavian to the north of you, was pretty easy, pretty simple. You didn't even need to get involved. Someone just came around to give you your new kind of patrol when you're keeping guard.
Yes, but I have grown to like it here somewhat.
Yes. It kind of suits you. Other places you've been, other times, have been a bit more vigilance needed, a bit more... Weirdly, for you, this, and for your experience with your group, this seems to be a bit more peaceful and not as violent or as crazy, so... probably instead of being bored for the last couple of months, you've been fairly relaxed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You do hear the ringing of a doorbell down below.
Company. Excellent. I wonder who that could be. I shall make my way.
Well, you do hear the door being answered, and
Yes, I shall make my way slowly.
Yeah.
I'll probably turn the music down a notch and close the window up on the way down, or before going down, rather.
As you start walking down the stairs, you're met with Christian walking up.
Christian.
Yes, sir. There is a Mr. Ruben to see you here.
Wonderful.
I'm afraid he's not very well attired, sir, but...
Do not worry. Perhaps leave the two of us to it. I believe there is. Or perhaps you could check the stock in the pantry for me.
Of course, sir. Would you like me to send him to you, or would you like to greet him yourself?
Oh, I will receive him myself. Thank you.
Very well, sir.
That will be all.
Of course, sir. And Christian wanders off to go check the stocks in the pantry and whatnot. As you carry on walking down, you see a kind of average height male with a hoodie pulled up over his head, like kind of, you know, standard kind of green, bit of red on the inside of the hoodie, ratty jeans and like trainers with the shoelaces untied and stuff. Like,
I sort of look and sort of grimace and smile.
yeah, and he turns around, looks up and goes, "All right, Lexi."
Ruben, a pleasure as always. And what brings you to my humble abode?
Well, I was just, well, I wasn't doing the rounds, but I was just up in the new part of our domain, wandering about, and I noticed one of them dicks from, what's his face? The Malk up north.
Ah, Mr. Kale.
Yeah, he was trespassing is what I'd say it was probably, but
I see. The matter very serious. Join me, please, if you will, through into here. We should sit. This may take some contemplation. Is there anything I can offer you?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm sorted.
Good.
Because Cyril told me, like, you know, don't go starting trouble with no one, even if they're encroaching, as long as they don't, you know, as long as they don't go too far. So
yes.
I thought I'd come and let you know, so you can let them know.
Absolutely. Well, first we must understand what you saw. Please, have a seat. I sit down and I assume like a red leather sort of Chesterfield chair.
Yeah.
That is better. This is definitely a conversation for sitting. Now, do tell me again, if you will, from what did you see exactly?
All right, yeah. And like Ruben like sits on the arm of the chair, like kind of semi-relaxed, but not really. So, I was up in that area, and he was like walking down the street, just like along that new section that we got, kind of on the other side of the road, but he did like switch over and kind of like, you know, go in. I don't know, like it's not really. I think it's encroaching, but it's not, you know.
I see. Did you see him go back out again?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. He just like crossed over and then crossed back and then.
I see.
Headed back.
I see.
I don't know what, you know.
Well, it would sound to me like he is not necessarily investigating our business, but still, there is a matter of decorum that perhaps he has transgressed. Very well.
I just figured, like, you know, even though it's a little thing, I don't know, maybe Cyril wants to make a deal out of it so that he can, you know, have that Malk again, or...
Yes,
you know,
well,
whatever.
manners are everything and rules are rules, so therefore, I think you have done the right thing, Ruben. Perhaps if I am to pass a message to Ciamara, I believe, yes, the chain of command is there for a purpose, is it not?
Of course, of course. You know, I just, you know, she creeps me out.
Yes, I understand. I too find her unsettling, but I'm sure many would say the same of us.
Yeah, well...
Would you... In fact, I feel that perhaps you should stay for a while until she arrives.
Nah, you're right, Lexi, you're right. I'm feeling a bit peckish. I was thinking going down Chauntry.
Very well. If you would, a small description of the man you saw, so I can corroborate.
I don't know, he looked a bit like a boxer, quite short, but wide.
How exactly does a man look like a boxer?
Well, you know, like puffy broken nose and like cauliflower ears and that type of thing.
I see.
I assume he was a boxer before he was, you know.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so specific with me. You have been most diligent. Very well. This has been a pleasure. If there's nothing else I can offer, then by all means enjoy your evening.
Yeah, you too, mate. I'll come back around sometime and, you know, check in again.
Hang out, as it were. Absolutely.
Cool.
I will sort of probably like walk him to the door, open the door for him.
When you open the door to the room out into like the antechamber, Christian's there at the front door, like ready to open it up to let him out.
Thank you, Christian.
Very good, sir. And like opens the door, and Ruben kind of like shuffles out. The chair's probably like a little bit dirty from where he sat, just like a little thin layer of grime. And he kind of like puts his hand up as he leaves and heads on down there. So the rookery, which is effectively your house, it's on the main road in the Old Guard territory, like that main road in between the maze and Flintbridge that kind of, you know, goes out of town.
Yep.
But it doesn't have like a front. It doesn't have like a front door. It has a door to the rear, like looking away from the main road, and which like heads out into a little courtyard type area, which has like a fountain and a few benches, and it's a place people kind of like gather. There's not many people here currently. Like there's probably like a couple of like teen to young 20s, like chilling there, having a beer and chatting, but not much of anything.
Okay. Once he has left, I'll turn to Christian. If you do not mind, the chair is in need of cleaning.
Of course, sir. I'll get on it right away.
And perhaps the door handle, if you do not mind.
Very well, sir.
Grease is such a hideous thing. Now, you will excuse me. I shall head upstairs.
Okay.
And I shall find a little birdie.
What are you thinking? Crow, raven, owl,
Yeah,
falcon.
Crow for now.
Crow's the least.
Most inconspicuous.
Crow's the most inconspicuous for sure. If you're wanting to like leave an impression, but this doesn't seem to be anything of too much import. So
A crow for now.
Yeah.
I shall try and call one.
Yeah, a crow, like, flaps down and hops a couple of times and, like, looks around.
I shall try and meet its gaze and pass it a message.
Okay. I believe that's a rouse check.
Yes, it is.
Don't get hungry.
That's a good start. The message would be as follows. I would request your company, a matter of urgency in politics. You will know where to find me. I am at the rookery, of course. I look forward to seeing you soon.
And this is going to Ciamara?
Yes, it is.
Roll me a charisma animal ken, I believe is the... also, you want to change your name on the sheet, because currently it's TBC. And you may want to change it on Roll22, because it's currently Mac.
Alexander Ivor Kavalos. Right. And specialism? Birds of prey?
Yes. Technically, a crow is carrion, but we've already got carrion in this city. We don't need to worry about more.
Indeed.
Yeah. It kind of like gives you a fairly like intelligent look, and there's like a hesitation where its head kind of like twitches a little bit, and it seems to be looking for food, but then it takes off and flies out through the window.
Marvelous. I shall spend the next however long just sort of preparing the home, making sure everything is as it should be.
Okay.
Probably changing something on the gramophone, putting something I would enjoy on until her arrival, and then most likely sitting again in that chair for some time, just contemplating.
And yeah, there's kind of are you still in the top, or have you moved down?
No, I'll go back inside. I assume a fire has been lit, but if not, I would ask Christian to light a fire for me to gaze into.
One in the study.
Okay, I shall be in the study then.
In that case, like kind of about probably 10 minutes later, there's a knock at the door.
I will wait probably a minute or two.
Okay.
Before then going out to receive my guest.
Oh, it's actually Christian.
It was a knock on my door. Apologies. I assumed a knock on the front door.
Sorry.
If
It's a knock on your door.
If it's a knock on the door of the study, I will get up immediately. Actually, no. Yes, Christian?
The Joneses have called again, sir. Apparently young James is developing a nasty chest infection. They've asked that you stop by on your next rounds to just give him a quick look over.
Thank you, Christian. We have to perform our duties.
Yes, sir.
As do you.
Of course, sir.
Enjoy.
And he moves off again to do whatever he is doing. Little
Okay.
time.
I will make a note in a little leather-bound sort of notepad diary, quite small pocketbook, just of the family name.
Okay. Yeah, they live just off the ways a little bit, down the road. And a little bit later, you hear a knock on the actual front door, and almost immediate kind of muffled voices from Christian and someone else who you can probably assume is Ciamara.
I will get up to go receive my guest.
Okay. Head downstairs, and you see this time someone in slightly nicer, more kind of flowing evening dress, like pale dark skin, completely bald head, with earrings going up her ear, and then a chain that goes from her ear to her nose. Very nice, like fancy gold chain, not a.
Ciamara.
Alec.
Radiant as always.
Thank you.
We have much to discuss. Christian, thank you. If we may, I'll see her towards one of the more secluded rooms.
Of course, lead on.
Please, I have been visited by Ruben, who brings me rather concerning news.
I hope he did not distress you too much.
No, he is full of character.
Yes, and character just falls off him as he walks.
It certainly does, but fortunately there is adequate cleaning facilities here. And on that note, it would appear our northern border has been tested. A lowly individual from potentially the Malkavian to our north has ventured into our territory for a brief curiosity. Someone resembling a boxer. Ruben followed them in and out. It seems our business is still our own, but I thought as a matter of principle that you should know.
I'm not sure it is something we want to act on, but it is good to know.
Of course. Of course. I appreciate the area is new. Perhaps the gentleman was simply walking his previous path.
Possibly. We do not need to expand any further currently, but to bring up such an issue could dissuade further investigations if they think they can get away with it. Perhaps it was to test our perimeter.
Perhaps indeed. If you will, I can always dedicate a few more eyes and ears in that direction.
We would prefer you to keep your eyes and ears mostly fixed on the rectory and Marfield House for now.
Very well, as you see fit. If I may be so bold, I am curious as to what it is that Mr. Cale gave up that was of interest to us. Would you refresh my memory?
We merely needed a bigger buffer in between our operations and everyone else. The North was a worry to us, so we've managed an agreement with Mr. Cale Katen. He was willing to cede some territory.
I am sure you were a vigorous negotiator.
Well, I believe it was Sasha who went and talked to him, but...
Well, praise to Sasha then for being so diligent. Is there anything else you wish of me as far as our business goes?
Yes, it is, actually, I was thinking of coming to talk to you anyway, as, we need you to step up the security a little bit. just for the next 2 weeks or so. Our operations are proceeding, but a little slow sometime. And we need privacy for that time, so that we can be ready when it is time to move out.
I understand. And it would seem in a couple of weeks that perhaps we have something to look forward to.
Indeed. The time is almost here, Alec, when we can start making bolder moves.
Well,
No more shadows.
I quite like my shadow here, but I will leave the boldness to yourself.
Well, as you know, my shadow goes where I command it, so...
Yes, of course. They sometimes have a will of their own, I'm sure.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Of course, of course. Well, is there anything I may offer you as you are here?
No, it is, I should head back to the rectory and talk to Cyril.
Very well. I have various families that are in need of my tender care.
Just, for the sake of thoroughness, have you any inclinations of any of the nearby factions being suspicious of us, or, you know, not just necessarily in our territory, but even like skirting the edges and keeping a suspicious eye?
Rest assured, Ciamara, if I am to report someone merely stepping inside our territory, I would come to you with anything of interest.
You always have been the best security dog.
I am diligent in my duties.
At that point, there's like a... out the window outside your study, like...
Ah. Well, if you would excuse me for a moment, a bit of air.
Of course.
Will you be staying for any time, or?
No. I think my work here is, done. I should get back to Cyril. We need, to tend to things.
Very well. If anything is to arise, then I would hope you would find about it.
Of course. I may have a look around a little bit myself as well, but,
A wise idea.
of course. We have, Zaza and Nikita are wandering around at the moment just as an extra security measure, so if anyone is sneaking about at this point, I think we should find them quite quickly.
Very well. Would you like their duties reported to yourself as well, I assume?
Send me a raven.
Very well. Very well. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. I do enjoy gazing at your baubles.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. And she stands up and flows out. You hear like the door clicking as she walks down the stairs. Christian's already there, like opening up the door for her.
She goes. I'm just gonna be like, just touching my face where her piercing was, just with a. I assume that's what I remember. There's a knock.
Yeah,
yes.
The window like clacks again.
Yeah. I will go and open the window and immediately, my apologies, little friend. I've kept you waiting.
It's actually a barn owl. It's one of your like higher ones. You know, they get a bit higher. They get a bit more soary. And he like he's the owls and the raptors, the more birds of prey. They are a bit better trained and a bit more. The ravens and crows are intelligent, so they have their uses. But the like more stricter training goes to the.
I assume I'd have like a cloth nearby that I'd drape over my arm and just allow him to step on, and just hold him inside for a moment and sort of give him a very small prune and just check his feathers.
It'd probably be like a little mouse or rat, or, you know, like something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he before he goes to eat, he looks at you. Roll me your animal ken animalism.
That'll do.
Nice. Yeah, you gain the impression of his survey and of his patrol of pretty much nothing to suspicious. You know, some people like pushing each other, like a bit of drunken arguing. Like it's all low down and kind of street level. Right towards the end, when he came, it's actually the reason he came back to you is he saw a figure, like looking at a couple of the buildings from a rooftop, like scoping them out and seeing what they are. Right.
Could I make out any details of said figure?
Limited, slim, small, very, very lithe and stealthy. From any other position aside from immediately above, it would be very hard to notice her. Also, an owl vision of the night kind of helps as well.
I'll motion it toward the food for it to eat while I process this. And probably as it's kind of like away on the mouth, I'd give the feathers a little bit of a gentle caress.
Yeah.
Thank you, my old friend. You are most reliable.
Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Is this one.
I do enjoy your name. And so, the plot this evening would thicken. If we will, let us introduce some drama and theatrics. I'm going to take from my coat rack while holding it in the holding Xavier. What's the name of the bird? Sorry.
Cornelius.
Cornelius. It's the same thing, right? I'm just going to quickly put my cloak over my shoulders and pull it over my head. Walk towards the window. I assume it's probably taken the mouse down fairly quickly.
If you want, you can head up to...
Yeah, that would be better than passing it out of a window. Okay, I shall walk up the stairs with my outdoor cloak on, my rain cloak. And as I reach the top, I will gaze its eyes and pass it a message.
It would be a bit less... So, you're sending a message to a hidden...
I'm going to ask it to go back there, if possible.
The owl?
But, yeah.
Because, that's not as...
That's not what the owl does. That's not the owl duties.
It's not what the owl does, but also it can do it, technically speaking, but it's also kind of circumspect because it's a big barn owl.
Yes. No. A wise decision by my subconsciousness.
Yes.
Okay, in that case, once arriving up the stairs, I shall let the owl fly off to resume its observations as its primary purpose. And I shall call another raven.
Okay.
A messenger this time.
Yeah, it flies down and settles on the arm, your arm.
Wonderful. And I shall pass it a message.
Okay.
However, just before doing so, I will pull it up to at least cover my face.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. My friend, if you'd be so kind to pass on the following to our young intruder. It is dangerous here. You should leave. And I'll throw it up into the air.
And it flaps off, heads over in the direction which Cornelius indicated the intruder was.
An eventful evening.
So, I think it's about time to head out.
I'll pull out my little notepad and just review the names of those that would be due for my rounds.
Do your
Duties.
rounds, get everything, your regular schedule, which doesn't usually involve night peekers on the roofs. But, as you head out, you do take a moment to think to yourself that you may have located a possible ally. Because you don't have much time left.
No.
2 weeks.
Yes. As I walk out the door pondering this, I assume I grab a small leather bag.
Yep.
I shall be some time, Christian.
Very well, sir. Doing the rounds?
Yes.
Of course, sir.
The clock is ticking, and I feel this town is about to become more lively.
I shall endeavour to prepare your evening wear, sir.
Thank you.
See you when you return, sir.
Indeed.
And you head out the door into the night to do your rounds and to be the face of the old guard, as you have done every night.